Once again, man, we back with another episode of Prison Stories 101, where we like to talk to those who survive, being locked down in the cage. And first and foremost, CEO Hockley, I have to appreciate you for coming through the first round, giving us some real game. It's interesting because people don't really believe these stories that get told, or it sounds so radical that it's like if you've seen stuff like if you experienced it, that means you must have either been involved in it or for you to have seen it. And I'm glad if they didn't get through your interview, towards the end, you mentioned it very perfectly, saying in prison, the number one rule is to mind your business. And I don't think they understand that. Like, if you see something going down that is inhumane, whether to inmate, CEO to inmate or whatever, uh, the number one rule is just mind your business. So as we get started, first I want you to reintroduce yourself, and as you do, I want you to reiterate that how important it is just to, keep to yourself, mind your business. When it comes to that kind of stuff.
Mind your business, man. Yeah, once again, it's your boy CEO Hockley, aka Crip Night, man. We right back in the building. Prison Stories 101, where you get the real shit, man. Real, actual, truth, testimonial things about what goes on in prison. Not the hip hop, bebop, ain't no beat behind this shit. Do you hear me? This is how we survived and made it out to prison to be able to deliver y'all the stories. And what you're saying is people was talking about when I caught a fellow inmate, on top of another inmate. And people feel like, well, how you do all that time and you don't participate? Well, it's the same way like now. It's all kind of drugs out here. Everybody ain't on drugs, right? It's all kind of vices and all kind of shit going on. Everybody that went to the puff party ain't stayed for the other shit. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, you could be around something. You could be involved in something, but that don't mean you actually participate in the things that you don't agree with. And in prison and out here, I don't agree with homosexuality. That ain't in me. That ain't something I participate in, I like, or entertain in any shape or form. Even in there, when I was around them, the punks, I called them by their name. So if a punk name was the people in prison called the dude Tiffany, I called him Joseph. Why? Because like I told him, mentally, I'm not gonna even get into the mind state of saying you a woman. Nigga, your mama named you Joseph. Nigga, you ain't Tiffany. Yeah. Your mama named you Marcus. I don't give a damn what these niggas call you. So right there, start from a psychological thing, and you can be in that environment and not indulge. But the number one thing about the environment is mind your business. That should be the number one thing in life, man. You know what I'm saying? They got this thing, the police say, if you see something, say something. I say, if you see something and it don't got shit to do with you, leave it alone before you get that shit on you. Yeah. Some of this shit you can fuck around with and get on you. And in prison, in a closed-knit environment, I ain't want to get no shit on me, literally. Like, shit on me, period. You hear me? Yeah, so I mind my business when I seen a fella inmate on top of another inmate. Yeah, I saw it, I turned around and I went the other way. I ain't participate and I ain't tell nobody to the day. That's how traumatized I was. I just told you this goddamn story last week. Nigga, that shit been in my mind for 30 years. I finally got the little therapy.
Damn. Nah, that's some real shit. And again, rules to live by. One of the hot topics that's going on right now and I want to speak on is that Donald Trump just pardoned Larry Hoover, and he of course pardoned young boy who's already out. But I want you to speak on as far as inmates, whether through celebrity status or just inmates who are doing time and they're waiting for a governor or the president or whoever to pardon them. About what percentage of inmates like maybe have life sentences or whatever that be just really, really waiting on pardons? And if you don't mind explaining what a pardon is for those that may not know.
Right. So you got a couple things, man. And again, when you're dealing with things like pardons, when you're dealing with them commuting your sentence, let's just break those two things down. A pardon is saying that we not only saying we gonna free you, but we gonna clear your record, right? Like, hey, don't worry about that. Nothing happened. You good now. You get to start over. So think of a pardon as being like we gonna clean the slate, right? No harm, no foul. You did time or didn't do time, but we gonna wipe off your stuff and clean your slate. You pretty much done, right? That's what a pardon is, right? Now to commute your sentence is to be like, I got 50 years, and then they come in and say, we gonna let you go. We gonna put you on parole. We gonna commute it. We gonna end it right here, and you get to get out, but you still have it on your record. Those are the two differences between a pardon and a
Commuter sentence.
commuted sentence. So the difference between a pardon and a commuted sentence is this. A pardon is a clean slate. It's saying no harm, no foul. We're going to erase your sentence. You no longer convicted of a felony. Not only do we discharge the sentence, we discharge the charges. You gone. Commuted sentence is saying you got 50 years, you done did 20 years. We're going to stop right there. We're going to say time is served. You able to get out, but you still have this on your record. Those are the two differences between pardons and commutions. With Larry Hoover, he was pardoned by Donald Trump on his federal time, which means he no longer has the federal charges or the federal sentence, and the feds are releasing him from their custody. I mean, that's a big thing for him because he was serving 2 life sentences in federal custody, and he was also in Supermax, meaning he was in Colorado underground. So, like, we haven't heard from Larry Hoover. We haven't saw Larry Hoover. And Larry Hoover has had limited contact with the outside world. But since this pardon of his federal time, now we're going to be able to see Larry Hoover. We're going to be able to hear from Larry Hoover, even though he still has like 200 some years in the state, right? That's pretty much how that works. But I'm going to tell you, bro, black people need to cut the bullshit, man. We got to quit celebrating when people are released from prison that we don't know about, man. Like Larry Hoover been in jail since 1973, bro. Larry Hoover created a curse that remains in our community today. You hear me? He created the Gangster Disciples in Chicago, man. And here we are 52 years later celebrating Larry Hoover as if like he's going to get out and do something and help us, as if he going to save us. And it's not going to happen. So, you know, I'm not against him being pardoned. I'm not against any black man getting out of jail. What I'm against is black people that are free, black people that are out here and they could make a difference and make a change, celebrating these fake wins, man. These fake wins, bro. We ain't won nothing. We ain't won nothing. We ain't gained nothing. How do we keep letting these white people psychologically trick us into celebrating shit that has no effect on us at all, man? Larry Hoover went to jail when he was a YN, 22 years old. This is what all YNs that sliding right now need to know. Your ass will be in there till you're 74 and they still won't let you out, man. Yeah, he did so much goddamn sliding. He just got 2 life sentences commuted, pardon on 2 life sentences, and he can't get out. That's how fucked up that system is. That is what y'all are running down there to get involved in. So then when we hear, oh, Big Meech home or Larry Hoover home, man, well, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, man, I'm a tax-paying citizen. Tell Donald Trump to free the goddamn money. Yeah, tell him to free Ben Franklin. Goddamn me, Grant. Free them hundreds and them 50s. I want to hear the news that all tax-paying citizens are going to get some relief and they going to get $7,500 stimulus checks. Yeah, that's when you talking our language. That's some shit that can help. Take the tariff off the light bill. Yeah, I don't know if tariffs are part of the light bill, but my motherfucking light bill sky high since that nigga raised tariffs. Yeah, I don't know how them two things go together, but take the tariff off the motherfucking light bill. Free the light bill, you could keep Larry Hoover, and you could take back Big Meech. Yeah, you could take them niggas back because them niggas can't help us, man. I mean, that's just my point, man. Niggas celebrating Larry Hoover getting commuted, and he can't even come home, and niggas don't even know they mama birthday.
Nah, that's man. Come on, that's saying something right there.
Yeah,
That's
you
saying
ask
something.
any one of them niggas right now, what day was your mama born? Man, them niggas is lost, bro. But they can tell you when the GDs got started, bro. That we fucked up.
So you said something right there. You said getting pardoned from a sentence from the feds could still mean that you have to do state, which I think Larry had the state time as well, to where I believe he may not even come home if the state isn't commuted a pardon as well, right? Like he might have to just go from feds to serve the rest
Man,
of his
listen,
time in state.
this man is so rotten back then, right? And again, this has nothing to do with the person Larry Hoover himself. This has everything to do with black people celebrating fake wins, bro. In 1973, Larry Hoover was sentenced to 200 years in the state of Illinois. Do you hear what I'm telling you? This is not a federal conviction. This is a state conviction in 1973. I don't even think they had RICO charges yet. That shit wasn't even invented yet. They didn't even have that shit. So what they did was goddamn arrested him, locked him up for starting the Gangster Disciples, one of Chicago's biggest gangs. They locked up the Gangster Disciple leader and gave him 200 years in the state of Illinois. For all you rookies and people that don't know, and all you YNs that ain't been in this wicked system that they call a justice system, they got nothing to do with us. It's just oppression, poor people, black and brown people. He was sentenced to 200 years in 1973. I wasn't even born yet, man. Do you hear me? I wasn't even around in 1973. He was sentenced to 200 years for being a leader of the Gangster Disciples by the state of Illinois. On that 200-year sentence, he has served from 73 to 83, that's 10 years. From 83 to 93, that's 10 years. And from 93 to 97 is 4 years. He has served 24 years in the state of Illinois when he was arrested while in prison. He'd been in jail 24 years, and the federal government arrested him while he was sitting in the state Illinois prison for still running and killing people out there in the streets. So he picked up a 2-life sentence in the federal prison while doing 24 years in the state prison, and ever since then, he's been locked up in federal custody in their Supermax since 1997. And that's what he's been serving, 2 life sentences on high security Extreme Max down in Colorado underground since then. So imagine that. He was locked up for 200 years in the state. He only did 24 years before he caught a double life sentence in the fit. This is the shit we celebrate, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. When you break it down like that, I mean, we have to look at that.
Like,
where's the win? Where is the
where
win?
is the fucking win? Oh, the win is we admire and we celebrate victims, bro. Yeah, we admire and we celebrate victims. We don't celebrate winners. See, you gotta be fucked up. You gotta be a loser. You gotta die. You gotta be all the way twisted up for us to clap for you. And then the worst thing the worst thing that can happen to Larry Hoover is the same thing with Big Meech. After we create this myth and this folklore of this man as if like he got power, man, I don't know, bro. But if you went to jail at 22 and you got out at 75, you ain't got no power. This ain't no motherfucking Nelson Mandela. Am I making sense?
Come on.
You ain't got no motherfucking power. But then if they did release him in today's time, all we gonna do is strip away the myth from them. All we gonna do is bash and banish them the same way they did Big Meech. Big Meech went out 3 months and he was a rat. And now we don't even talk about it. We don't even sing the Big Meech song no more.
Come on. Come
Yeah,
on.
because we only like the nigga when he was locked up. That's how fucked up this culture is and what we got going on, man. Yeah, that's how much of a jail celebration mind state we stay in. The nigga get out of jail, get a bigger party than the kid that's going to college, my nigga.
Exactly, exactly. Let me ask you, while you were in there, were there other inmates speaking about pardons or commuter sentences? Were they working for that? And if so, is that like a pipe dream for inmates, or is that something that people actually like really be trying to get done? Writing the governor, just you send out
Right.
letters, having.
Boy, you said it. You hit it on the nail. It's a motherfucking pipe dream. I'm talking about a real crack pipe dream for poor black niggas in the penitentiary, meaning like this here. You got to remember, most people that go to jail are already broke. Let's just be real. Ain't nobody out here ain't no whole group of people committing no crimes with no bunch of money. Crime is committed by the motherfucking lowest scumbags. Niggas ain't got no cash. So the people in jail or the pardon system and the clemency system is based on money. It's based on attorneys and money. The only people that get pardons and clemency are people that end up falling up under these non-profit organizations that white man that created, right, to help these poor black niggas and poor black Mexicans, man. That's it. So you don't hear about pardons and shit like that unless it's coming through a non-profit organization that then reached out to help somebody. That's the only way that shit happens. But you do have some people that may end up in jail and you got some money, let's say like a wild, like an NBA young boy, and they play the pardon system and the clemency system. And that's all about paying lawyers and attorneys. One hand wash the other. You pay this man this 20 grand, you pay this one 15, you pay that one 30, and then you finally get to the man that play golf with the governor, and then the man that play golf with the governor get his 60, and then he tell the governor, oh, that old nigga Robert Hockley is all right, man. I think we gotta let him out. When you think about that before you get out of that, now you know that game was played at the end of their term. Whenever they got ready to get out, like whenever they got ready to get out of office, they would do all the clemency work and the community work. Donald Trump doing that shit in real time. He doing that shit every day. Yeah, his office is open, and if you got some dollars, he gonna free you.
I think. Nah, no. Go ahead. You about to say?
Yeah, I was just saying. So it's a money game. It has nothing to do with right or wrong. It has nothing to do with innocent or guilt. It has everything to do with greasing the right palms. That's how the clemency game works. And you don't hear about it in prison unless it's through a non-profit organization and they coming back to feed the kids like them African commercials. You could feed a baby for 30 cents a day. Them the only organizations that help people get clemencies when I was in prison. That's just how it worked.
You can use the sympathy card though, I'm assuming, like to reach out to someone that might be close to someone in power and just pray on, just use that sympathy and tell them how
Right.
much you changed. And
nigga, we got how much money Elon Musk got, nigga, we got that in sympathy times 10,000. They ain't never had sympathy. Yeah, what, man, listen, y'all better pay attention. Ain't no sympathy. Ain't no sympathy.
Man.
It don't exist. What's that shit they be telling you? Have empathy and sympathy and all that shit only in the dictionary, bro.
Man.
Yeah, that shit does not exist in the court system, man, at all.
Man, all right. One thing I want to get from you, we didn't talk about was, we always hear about the creative ways that weapons are made, not only to fight inmates but to fight COs. We heard of people taking feces and put it in, and I mean all kind of ways to shoot it at COs and stuff.
Right.
Can you explain, like,
Yeah.
can you explain what that is for those that may not know what the doodoo gun is, how people might get a blade in there, just other type weapons. When we see a Tory Lanez get hit 14 times, people wonder like, well, how does one get knives or create knives or make knives out of what in prison to even stab somebody? Or even when you in solitary, you got to use things like the doo-doo gun and things like that. Can you explain the weaponry that floats around any type of
in prison? Yeah. So now, what the Tory Lanez video and the Tory Lanez situation is, again, another lesson to be learned, man. Here we got a millionaire, successful rapper that ends up in prison, and he's in prison with his chest all poke out. He like a fucking peacock. He got his feathers flat out. That nigga releasing albums. He in there with the gang. He taking pictures. He all tough. He out. Then the next thing we hear, he stabbed up 14 times, and both his lungs been punctured. One of his lungs collapsed. Both been punctured, and one of them collapsed, and he's in the hospital fighting for his life. And then we see a video of this going on. I encourage all young people and people that think they ready to go to prison to go look at that Tory Lanez video on TMZ, right? Because see, that is the real life. That's the real truth. Here's the first myth about prison. When you see these big old knives, you know, some of these weapons that we talking about, and you see the big knife and all this, that ain't what people using, man. Anybody got a big knife and they trying to stab you, you could defend yourself off better against a big knife. But like you saw in the Tory Lanez situation, it's not the big knives that kill people. It's the little toothpick, ice pick knives. It's the little small ones that you can hold in your hands, right? That you can hold tight with 3-4 inches on it, and you could just poke as you swing. And that's exactly what happened with Tory Lanez situation. The Mexican had the goddamn ice pick style knife where it's sharp and it could just puncture. And he was just swinging. And Tory just was feeling the pain from it entering in and out his body to where he got stabbed 14 times. He was on his back. He was trying to cover up. You know, you wondering what the fuck is in his hands, because you thinking like, is he hitting hard or what? No, you are being stabbed. And those are some of the myths that we think prison is about. It's that little bitty action like that where you could stab somebody up and cause a whole lot of pain. The next thing about the Tory Lanez video, we pay attention, it was not a ride. You know how you convinced that these things happens in rides and everybody is fighting? Matter of fact, if you go watch the Tory Lanez video, 2 people walked by him as it was happening. And guess what they did? They mind their business. What I told you, the number one rule in prison is mind your business. 2 people, one dude walked up the stairs with a tray of food, saw what was happening, and kept walking with his tray. The next person was walking up the stairs, saw what was happening, and turned back around to go eat his food downstairs. Nobody came to help him.
Man, that's the legit seeing it on video. Mind your business. And that's crazy, because you would think that someone would be like, hey man, let me jump in and help him. But like you said, that shit gonna fall on you if you don't mind your business.
Mind your business. Go look at the Tory Lanez video and watch them 2 people in the video mind their business. Tory Lanez got to save himself. So I'm saying that to say, as it relates to weapons, let's get away from the myth. Now, do you got big knives in there and all that? You definitely do. But that ain't, when it's time to put the work in, it's the ice picks every time. It's the small knives. It's the things that you can hold with your hand with a grip that can't nobody take away from you, right? And the things that, unbeknownst to a person when you fighting, that they getting stabbed, they get people killed. That was a real hit on Tory Lanez, man. That was it. And there's no mistake on why it was behind that mirror and how he probably got baited into being in that compromised position on the camera to where it wasn't fully recorded. It was behind the mirror. Believe me, inmates are aware of that, man. Those are the spots. So that's one thing, right, that I want to just clear up as it relates to shanks and knives and stabbing. It's the small knives that get the most action when you in prison. The next thing is when you talk about like the doo-doo gun or the feces and all that different stuff, again, you just coming up with ways to attack people and humiliate people. Where out here, you'll be like, man, somebody spit on you. That's some of the worst thing a person can do, right? All right. So the next thing other than spitting on you is the goddamn me throw some shit on you, right? And it's just a form of humiliation and a form of disrespect to one of the highest levels to where, yeah, nigga, I threw my shit on you or on the guard or on the officer, right? So where again, these are your only means or attack or showing them that you do not respect them the way they don't respect you. So that's how that shit end up. Now, if you do that shit in prison, if you throw some shit or create a doo-doo gun, they give you 100 years. Yeah, your ass gonna be trying to get pardoned with Larry Hoover. You hear me? Yeah, you're gonna be trying to get a pardon for the charge they give you for that shit. Nah, when I was in there, the goddamn guard just had to take it. It wasn't nothing but like a disciplinary write-up within the system. But now they take your ass to court for throwing goddamn bodily fluids on anybody.
Yeah, they say there's also like a chemical you could warm up and throw on somebody. Is that something that was happening as
Right.
far as
So again, you in prison, you can get creative, man. There's all kind of shit. Nigga putting Clorox with the piss, nigga doing all that shit, nigga creating all kind of shit to where you can't get it off of you can't get the smell off of you, and it goddamn me fuck up your day. Yeah. Niggas making all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? And again, these are the only methods and the only means to where you want to fight back. So why would somebody want to do 20, 30, 40 years of their life in this environment? Man, you got to be psychologically deranged, or you have to be a young, undeveloped mind that haven't lived life long enough to understand that it's something greater than that shit.
is real? Would you overall say that prison helped you or hurt you as far as the overall
Man,
process?
listen, man, prison ain't do shit for me, man, other than introduce me to myself. Yeah, it's designed to break you. So I don't see it's like this. Adversity has a way of bringing the best out of you. You know, it's like, oh, you go harder if you lose a fight, right? So then, but the actual loss that you take is not designed to help you. It's designed to hurt you. You just had to be strong enough to make a better out of it. So it wasn't prison, it was you. That's why it's like, well, damn, CEO, you got out of prison and became a boss, right? So prison did you a favor. Now, it was me. I did me a favor. Prison was a condition in which I was able to discover who I was, because if prison fixed people, shit, the whole black community will be fixed. Yeah, the whole black community will be fixed. Now, it is designed to destroy you. They have a scientific thing about boiling water, right? Boiling water heats up, and with that boiling water, if you put a fragile egg in the water, it gets hard. And if you put a hard, stone, cold potato in the water, it gets soft. The water never changed. Just what was put in it changed. Yeah,
That's
the
a real.
water never changed.
That's
Just what was
nice.
put in the water changed. So now prison ain't do shit for me, bro. But introduce me to myself. All the shit I did was get back up after getting knocked down and take care of business. As you see, as you interview a lot of people about prison and people that have been to prison, a lot of people can't get back up, bro.
Man, nah, that's real. That's a real way to put it. Speaking of getting back up, let me ask you, what would you say was your hardest fight? You know, out of all the fights you done had in prison, which one was your problem? You know, your hardest.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I done had many fights. I done had many historical fights. I got some people that'll come on here and tell you the hardest fight they ever saw in prison was me fighting such and such, right? Like, this is from their accounts, right?
Yep.
Legendary fights I done had in prison with people. And I would have to say the hardest fight that I had in my 8 years in prison was the fight I had with myself,
Man.
Yeah, the fight I had to overcome the rotten ass mentality I had that put me in jail, man. That's every man's hardest fight, bro, when they're in prison. If a man tell you that ain't the hardest fight he got, he never put up a fight. He never changed his life. Yeah, the hardest fight is defeating yourself, your old self, and trying to become new. Giving up your old ways, growing up, maturing. That's the hardest fight I had, was against Robert Hockley from Galveston, Texas. And that nigga fought hard than a motherfucker, man. Well, I'm saying it wrong. The hardest fight I had was against Kryptonite from Galveston, Texas.
Yeah.
That nigga fought hard than a motherfucker. Do you hear me? Yeah, it was the hardest fight I ever had, and it was the most necessary fight I needed to have, and it's one that I survived. It ain't even one that I won. You understand me? It's the difference from winning and surviving. I don't know if you know that or not.
Yeah.
Right? It's one that I survived, was the fight against Kryptonite from Galveston, Texas. And I'm able to be here today because I survived that fight and I was strong enough to have it. And that's the hardest fight you can have, the fight you have with yourself when you're in prison.
Man, speaking of Kryptonite, man, what would you say is the difference between the gang activity that's in prison versus the gang activity on streets? Is it the same? Do you still keep your same ranks when you come in? How does it work and how does it differ?
Right. So gang activity, of course, man, you gotta understand in the 90s, a lot of people got put down in prison. I mean, a lot of people became Crip blood or whatever they became because they was in prison. You was in prison surrounded by gang members. Gangs run prison. But it is a difference. Gang banging in prison and gang banging on the street are two different scenarios. And be honest with you, gang banging in prison really don't count. Gang banging in prison is like training or practice. It's getting on the street where it counts, because on the streets, you can have real enemies and real consequences, and you could be punished for the things in which you do. In prison, you have enemies, and the consequences are no different from the ones you are already dealing with on a day-to-day basis, meaning like you already locked up. So the consequences ain't that hard, but gang banging in the streets is way more deadlier. The odds are, the risks and the rewards are heavily unbalanced, and it's a totally different thing. Of course, I'm a person that gang bang in the streets, and then I went to prison and put it down also. But that's the difference. The difference is one of them is really being in your community. Because it's one thing to gang bang when we in here. People get put down with gangs in jail and then go home, and their community is not even a gang community. like they go home and they realize, damn, I was Hoover, I was 6-0 in jail, but then you get out, everybody out here don't even know what a Crip is, right? I didn't have that. I grew up in a Crip neighborhood. I grew up in a Crip community. So I was Crip in the world, Crip in prison, and then I had to come back to the Crip community as a reformed person. You see what I'm saying? So gang banging in prison is just passing time, man. It's like a training ground. On the streets is where it's real at. Yeah, and on the streets is where you get your rep. That's just how that works, man.
Was initiation the same on the streets as it is in prison, or
right? In those days, it was the same. So like, I got put down with Rolling 60 Crip in 1993. I was, damn, how old I was in 1993? 14, 15 years old. Yeah, I was 14, 15 years old. And I got put down with Rolling 60 Crip in my neighborhood. We was already Crips, but then sets started taking a part of it. Like, we started going to state school and getting put down with the curse of sets and the information of Tookie Williams and Raymond Washington and all that mythical, logical ass shit, right? Which led to me getting put on the set in 1993 when I was 14.
That's real. Now, one thing that again, is we go by stereotypes of what people see and hear. They say once you get in prison, you quickly become a Muslim for protection. So a lot of people kind of just had this thing in their head to where if they're not affiliated to nothing, at least you become a
Right.
Muslim. Now you have affiliation to a protection or a blanket of protection within the Muslim community.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, becoming a Muslim is like joining the gang. Yeah, it's like joining the gang in a sense. Being a Christian in there is like, but you gotta understand about why people turn to religion. Let's not just look at the Muslim religion. I'm talking about you going to prison. There's some pretty harsh conditions, man. I mean, some of the stories that I'm telling you, you like, God damn, you gotta live under them conditions. If you saw that Tory Lanez video, and you gotta watch Tory Lanez get stabbed up, and you gotta mind your business. And then 2-3 days later, or a week or two later, you gotta watch a man have sex with another man, right? You really start realizing you in the belly of the beast, and you start leaning on the God. I don't know. I don't know if I'm
Yeah,
giving you.
I kind of get where you're going with this.
Yeah, you start realizing what environment you is, and more niggas than touch God in prison than anywhere else. Do you hear me? Yeah, more niggas you get in there and there's 3 niggas kick you in your ass. Boy, it been more prayers made it to heaven from prison than anywhere else. The judge, goddamn me, give you a life sentence. Man, it's been more redemption done behind them bars than any place else. And I'm saying that to say those conditions, those stressful situations, those stressful environments create devout Christians, devout Muslims, devout. You are looking for something. You are looking at some school of thought, right? That will save you from the environment in which you in. So a lot of people turn Muslim because Christianity done felt them on the streets. We come in as Christians. That shit done felt us. We not with the turn the other cheek. We not with love thy neighbor. We not with that. They even had a Bible in the courthouse when they sentenced your ass to 200 years. Right? Yeah, they got the Bible right there with them. They say they doing this in the name of the God in the Holy Bible when they goddamn me send you to 48 life sentences. So once you get into prison and you doing them life sentences, you know, you looking for something else. And religion, and Islam is the alternative to Christianity. So we become Muslims because it's new to us, and the information in there is what we've been looking for most of our lives. So that's how that happens.
That's right. Now you mentioned things like Tory Lanez. When it comes to like, you see Tory Lanez getting stabbed, like you say, he's in the pictures. He's dropping records. You got R. Kelly in prison now. You got Diddy in jail. Um, these guys have sex crime. R. Kelly has, of course, sex crimes where there's, allegedly he's with minors. Normally I heard that jacket is something that you really can't just get away from. How do they make it through these situations right now when you got someone like Tory Lanez who, of course, is just in there for, weapons charges?
Right.
He's getting stabbed up.
Right. So first off, that nigga R. Kelly ain't alleged shit. That nigga been convicted.
Yeah, I mean, kind of had, yeah, the videos exist.
Yeah, that nigga ain't allegedly nothing. That nigga was at the 8th grade prom sweating in the curl. Do you hear me? That nigga was 46. Yeah, they got that nigga ass locked, booked, and hooked. But I kind of understand what you're saying. You're saying like for people that have sex crimes and they go to prison, how they treated,
Basically.
basically how they are treated. Well, I'm gonna tell you, man. Back in prison, man, we don't play the sex crime thing, man. You fucking with the kids, you raping the women. Nigga really don't respect that shit. Nigga get at you in some kind of way, man. Once they find that out on your record, you know what I'm saying? You have a disdain for you. You know what I'm saying? Now you could do things to overcome that disdain. It's no different saying like when somebody find out you a snitch. they have a disdain for you. So when they find out you fucking with kids, it's a real disdain for you and a real dislike. Okay, now the flip part about being a celebrity is this. If you as famous as R. Kelly, you could actually pay for protection. R. Kelly is singing on the phone. I don't know if you seen that nigga been singing motherfucking happy birthdays to people mamas since he been in that motherfucker. Do you hear what I'm saying? So it's a form of that. Plus, I heard R. Kelly got some hands. I heard he could defend himself, man. So if you could defend yourself in certain ways, then people could find a place for you, so to speak. But that it ain't like that for everybody. Now, if R. Kelly was out here freaking with them girls like that, and he done got 100 years in jail, I wouldn't be surprised if R. Kelly ain't catch boot line on Ferguson. Do you hear what I'm saying? Man. Yeah, that motherfucking nature don't go away. I don't know if I'm.
Now I got hey, if y'all watch a previous interview, we get where you going.
Yeah, hey, a freaky nigga in the streets is a freaky nigga in prison. Now, it might not just be because everybody want to hear about the, you know what I'm saying, the homosexuality that goes place in prison. But now, it's a lot of things I can't talk about because I was married now. Do you hear what I'm saying? As it relates to the women in prison, because it is women in prison.
Come on.
Do you hear me? So if R. Kelly goddamn me singing on the phone, he might be singing in a woman's ass in there too. Do you?
Come on.
You think a motherfucker won't sneak in the cell with R. Kelly?
Come on, cut the camera off.
Yeah, do you? Hey, so it worked both ways, but I don't hear a lot of stories on here about that. I got a few stories, but I can't tell them. Some shit I just can't tell on this motherfucker.
Yeah, no, I did one with R. Kelly's cellmate. I'm gonna put that out in about a week. But that's gonna be interesting. So definitely check that out. Now.
No. All right, I'm listening to you.
Now you mentioned earlier, as far as people normally are in prison because they broke. I was gonna ask, why do you think, or do you think it's hard for people to stay out of prison? And that's meaning before they even go, and even once they get out, they always say it is a high percentage. I think they say like 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 probably gonna end up back in prison.
Right.
Why do you think that is?
It's a system of poverty. Yeah, we are locked into a system of poverty. You gotta understand, it's not that rich people don't create crimes, but drugs, violence, and dysfunction is created from a lack of resources. So you go back to jail because you haven't figured out the system of a free society. And most people go to jail when they're young because, like young people, we don't understand what it means to go to work. We don't understand what it means to be responsible. We only care about self, and in caring about self, we don't understand how to take care of bills and shit like that. We just know how to take shit. That's one thing. The next thing that lead niggas back to prison is that they don't want to take care of nobody. Yeah, if you ever want to see the motherfucking county jail get full, let Christmas come around. Yeah, let school close season start. People don't want to be responsible for those different things, man. So when I say you're going to jail because we're poor, let's get that right. I'm saying we're going to jail because we have lack of resources. Yeah, funding.
Yeah.
Things that will keep you away from jail, right? Now, if you know you got $100,000 check coming, you're not likely to go do nothing to go to jail. You're going to wait on your check. Am I right?
Come on.
But if you know you ain't got nothing coming, you finna go catch a goddamn jail sentence. You finna go try to figure something out. You finna risk and goddamn me lose it all. And then when you get in a situation that made you commit the crime because you had no money, you ain't got no money to get out the situation. And you end up getting a court-appointed lawyer, and you end up getting whatever they give you. So that's just what it is. And they have built their system. It's almost like a cattle slavery system on poverty, keeping people broke on one end and walking them into prison on the other end. Point blank, period. Not only is they keeping you broke, they keeping your family broke. So your mama, your daddy ain't leaving you nothing or setting you up with nothing because she working or he working every day or he ain't there. All that is just a big old system of poverty that creates violence, that create crimes, and that create recidivism to the highest level. That's why I say you went to jail at 22, Larry Hoover. Now he 52. You think he getting out? What the fuck? He ain't even got Social Security. The fuck is he getting out to?
Man, man, for real.
Hey,
Uh,
so it's just that system of poverty that keeps the recidivism rate high and it keeps first time offenders going in and out.
no, understandable. One thing that people don't talk about is the people that they lose while they're in prison, while they're serving that time. But then they're not out to even go to see him at the hospital, go to see him at the doctor, hear about what happened. Did you lose any family members, any homeboys while you was in there that you just got a letter saying so and so ain't here no more, so and so got killed, so and so died due to this or whatever?
Right, right. So I did. I lost an uncle, but I mean, you got to think, man. When you go to prison, your people lose you. Think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I went to prison, my mother lost her son. My daddy lost his son. So they lose you. And then to turn around while you in there to lose them is hard, bro. It's hard. It's real, but it's hard. And this is why I advocate so much about not going to prison. Yeah, when I went to prison, I lost an uncle, right? And I'm saying that to say because I never saw that coming to get the letter and be like, he gone. My Uncle Paul, he's gone. He's been gone since 1998, right? And like, damn, I would never see him again and he'll never see me again. And, oh, that's just your uncle. Nah, it ain't just my uncle. What I'm saying is I put myself in a situation to where when people leave, we would never have the benefit of sharing experiences ever again. And that's hard, man. So it's a sentence on top of a sentence, if I'm making any sense here.
And I definitely hear stories of people losing their mothers, their fathers, their sisters, or even seeing a young sister or a young girl they used to know growing up and becoming a woman outside of your sight. It is triggering, the fact
Right,
that you're doing that much time.
right. So it's now, man, you give up so much, but you don't think about that because your mind ain't developed. You going in here 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 as a YN trying to prove yourself. Yeah, this is what you think is your rites of passage, but the whole time your people done lost you to the system and you finna lose your people to the world, man. And that shit is hard, bro. The shit is it's a real psychological trauma, PSTD, whatever the fuck that shit is called. That shit is for real, my G.
No, definitely. Now, last thing I have to ask on this segment is prison does do a good job of keeping inmates healthy. It's interesting because I know you probably don't know, but we see people coming out of prison and they look healthier than people that's out in the world where people obese out here, they swole, but people in prison, it seems as if the meals serve their purpose. The workout regimen serves its purpose, where when people get out, if they did their time right, they sometimes like they look like they come out healthier than
Right,
those who've been out here in the world.
right.
Is that by design? Do prisons keep inmates healthy and in good working condition throughout their entire sentence?
Fuck no. What you're looking at is structure keeping them healthy. Yeah, they away from the dope. Yeah, they're away from the vices that they had complete access to. So prison is structured. Most people can only survive in a structured environment. Those structured environments or institutions that we enter are like school or the military or your corporate job. It's structured in a way, hey man, this corporate America, bro, you can't do this. It's structured in a way in which, hey, if you do X, Y, and Z, you can succeed. Prison is one of those institutions. It's not that they are healthier, it's that they don't have access to the devices that will destroy them or take away their muscles. They don't have access to the crack pipe. They don't have access to the gun. They don't have to worry about the bills being due. You know how much healthier you'll be, brother, if you ain't have to worry about the bills?
Man, come on. Just, man.
You know how much vitality you'll have. You'll be around here on a Schwarzenegger. Yeah, you'll
Man,
be able to
stress
tell you
free.
nigga, what the Rock is cooking. Yeah, what they be flexed up. Nigga, they ain't got to worry about that shit. Nigga, yeah, insurance bill ain't due. You goddamn right. They in there flexing and squatting and flipping and pulling up. Yeah, so it's structure that
Yeah.
makes them healthier. And the shit that's out here kicking our ass, they are not privy to or they don't have access to. And that's it. They ain't got nothing better than us. It's just structured in a way that it protects them from all the shit that brings us down or that will stress you out or that will cause mental anguish that will lead you to prison. That's all you seeing. Nigga all bright and shit. He ain't saw the sun. Yeah, that nigga ain't been outside cutting grass. Yeah, I mean, it's all that shit. So what you looking at is not that they are doing better than us. They are structured better than us. And if you want to look healthy and if you want to look good, you have to create your own structure. Don't let the white man give it to it. Give it to you. Create your own structure. Learn to get some discipline and stay away from some things and get yourself in shape and work out and eat right, and you will look just as healthy as them. You ain't got to go to prison to goddamn me be on a lima bean diet to goddamn me get fined. Do you?
Nah, for real.
Yeah, you ain't
Goddamn.
gotta go to prison to do that shit. You need to just get yourself some discipline and stay away from them motherfucking zoos and whams and them snacks out here, and you'll start looking the same way. So it's more of structure than it is what the prison is feeding.
Man, that's some words of wisdom right there. Some of the realest stuff spoken, and I appreciate you always speaking so eloquently, man. When it comes to just basically giving us an inside look of how real it is. We always try to end each of these segments with, again,
Right.
words of wisdom to make sure people in the young YNs out there crashing out, taking penitentiary chances of why they need to stay away from situations. We look at Tory Lanez, we look at all these other things, and we don't want to glorify nothing that happens in prison because it ain't nothing to be glorified. So if you don't mind, let the folks know again, rules of engagement as far as why you should not ever set foot into a penitentiary system.
Right, man. You should never step foot into a prison system because you don't want to be in a system of control where you told what to do by people that's less than you, man. Imagine you going to Walmart and the greeter at Walmart at the door tell you to take off your clothes, get naked, turn around, pick up your legs, open up your ass cheeks, and cough 2 times before you can enter Walmart. I don't think you would want to go to Walmart no more. That's what prison is. Where the goddamn greeters from Walmart, right, get to be in control of your life. And that's one of the reasons you don't want to go to prison, young man. They're one of the things they not going to tell you. Yeah, somebody that just got out of high school, that didn't even go to high school, it's over you. Yeah, somebody that ain't able to do any of the things you are able to do physically, mentally, or spiritually is able to dehumanize you in real time. When I went to prison, I found out, oh, this what I was signing up for. I ain't never went back since. The next thing is this. We just talked about structure. You ain't got to go to prison to get the structure. People always be talking about they gonna change their life and they gonna start doing this. I'ma start reading. I'ma start eating right. That ain't how this shit work, bro. Yeah, it ain't about what you gonna do. It's about what you gonna stop doing. Do you hear me? Yeah, the way you add in this game is by subtracting. Don't add to what you got going on. I'm gonna start doing this. Say what you gonna stop doing, man. Yeah, I'm gonna stop going to the corner, man. I'm gonna stop hanging around these people. I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna stop that. And by stopping these things, you will add value in your life and you will create positive energy in the space in your life in which you can grow. It's like the rose that's trying to grow out the concrete, man. You surrounded by all this concrete and you ain't got no light. So you gotta stop doing shit. Now I know I'm finna go get some money. I'm finna go do no, you gotta stop doing some shit before you end up in that prison system, man. And the biggest fight you're gonna ever have in life, whether you in prison or out of prison, is the fight you have with yourself, man. Win that fight and you'll win the war, man. That's how I'm gonna lead the young people today.
Man, again, no more wiser words spoken, man. And once again, CEO Hockley, we appreciate you coming in, speaking to us, giving nothing but good game, man. Once again, you did your time, and you did it the right way. So, and I don't know if there's a right way to do it, but you did it. So we got to
Right.
say, we appreciate you for even coming on and telling these stories, man. CEO Hockley, Prison Stories 101, man. I got to salute you, man.
All right, salute.